And suddenly he just drew a dead blank. And he could not remember the name of the groom to save his soul. So, trying to cover himself in that awkward moment, the pastor looked at the groom and with great seriousness and solemnity, he said, "Son, with what name were you baptized?" And the groom was a little bit taken aback by that, because that is not what had happened at the rehearsal the night before. And he paused for a minute, but then with great confidence, he answered, "I was baptized in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ." Aha! Remember your baptism? I baptize you so-and-so in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Well, this didn't help the pastor very much at all. But at least the guy understood the meaning of baptism. Well, what's important about our texts for today is how the story ends. And after this remarkable transformation from thunder theology that we heard in Psalm 29 to tender theology that we heard from Luke, and after the metamorphosis of God as an abstract, somewhere way up in the sky being, into a fragile flesh and blood God, after the heavenly one decides to become earthly, it is then that the Creator God responded in a very particular and peculiar way. Simply, God, the God of thunder, the God of might, the God of awesome power, was just delighted. He was happy. If you've ever wondered if God is a mean God or a merciful God, if you've ever wondered that would God rather blast me than bless me, if you've ever thought that God was God of law more than he was a God of love, the 22nd verse here in chapter 3 totally clears up that confusion. The voice of God speaks once again, but it's not that loud megaphone voice that we heard in Psalm 29. This voice is warm, and it's gentle, and it's welcoming. And it says, "You are my Son, the beloved one, with whom I am well pleased." To the man standing there in the mud, the Son who has become a servant, God is speaking. Even before Jesus has done one thing noteworthy or worthwhile, what does God do? God praises him. God affirms that he is precious, that Jesus is unique, and that he is loved, not for what he does, but for who he is. In this baptism scene, God recreates the divine delight and pleasure that we saw at the very beginning of creation. After the creation of the sea and the dry land, what did God say? God said, "It is good." And after the creation of light and dark and the stars and the sun and the moon, God said, "It is good." And after the creation of the birds and the animals, the plants and the trees and the fish of the seas, God said, "It is very good." And after the creation of man and woman, in God's image, God said, "It is good. It is very, very good." After the baptism of Jesus, after this total immersion into humanity, into the human condition, God says, "This is good. This is delightful. This is my beloved who brings me great pleasure. This is very, very good." And so bring that down to our baptism. And God looked down at our baptism, and he said, "This is very, very good." And so it is when we're baptized. We too are just as blessed as that son that day in the Jordan River. All of us bring pleasure to God. This morning, we celebrate ministry that we all share, and that's really what baptism is about. It's through a saturation, if you will, of blessing and belonging. We have become beloved. We have become set apart by God's love to become love in this world. Every time we see someone baptized, whether it's an infant or an adult, we are reminded of our original blessing. We are reminded of the waters that washed over our lives and blessed us and saturated us and reminded us of God's voice in your life, in my life, in our lives, when God said, "You are my child, my daughter, my son. You are the beloved with whom I am well pleased." So as we leave this morning, I ask you, remember your baptism. Remember how blessed you are and that you belong. Remember that you are the beloved. And remember that it is a gracious God who has taken delight and pleasure in who you are and who you are becoming. This profound gift changes us. This gift defines us. This gift is what we have to share with the world. We can't do anything else but be a blessing to others. That's the gift of today. That's the good news of the day. That's the call of today. And friends, it is very, very good. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.